So, you want to know more about the dying MMORPG, do you? This is SnumpQuest. There has been a lot of talk within the MMORPG community as to whether or not the MMORPG genre is dying. But what does it mean for a genre to be dying? There are very few genres in video games that we can pull examples from to get concrete answers on what it means for a genre to be dying. In this series, we'll begin to discuss what it means to be playing a dying genre, and get a clear understanding why most consider the MMORPG to be dead. Let's get started. Before I discuss anything else, I want to be clear that there are sub-communities that exist for specific MMORPGs. Games such as World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, and Guild Wars 2 all have a thriving community today, so it would be false to assume that nobody wants to play these types of games. So then, if these games are MMORPGs, and there are clearly a lot of people playing and watching, then why is it we, as an MMORPG community, have come to the agreement that the genre is dying? In order for a genre to be considered dead, then there must be little to any demand for this type of game. Do you remember arcade classics such as Time Crisis or House of the Dead?
It's me, Christy. I found some data about the satellite network. Haven't the agents left yet?
Keith and Robert are on their way. No one can beat them.
Keith and Robert?
I remember when I was younger, I would put quarter after quarter into the arcade machines to try and get to the end, but never succeeded. I would remember even dreaming of having my own setup of Time Crisis so that I could experience the point-and-shoot light gunner shooter at home. So what happened? These genres are mostly considered dead, as we can see from the lack of developers creating these games and the lack of demand coming from consumers. Times change and technology evolved, and I see now that there's much better ways to experience a first-person shooter type of game, and I get the feeling that others feel the same way too. Demand comes from the community, the players, the gamers, and even the viewers. Demand comes from us, the people, that want to experience a certain way that other games in the genre allowed us to feel before. These feelings could be excitement, anger, frustration, sadness. Players want to feel the sense of accomplishment or thrill of overcoming adversity. Or players want to challenge themselves in becoming more skilled at certain tasks. Whatever it may be, demand eventually leads to a specific type of game or genre's prosperity where developers from across the globe will try their hand at making something that will truly captivate their audience. Money aside, developers want to make good games. Not only does it increase their reputation as a company, but it also puts trust in the community. A company wants to release a game with the confidence that their audience will purchase it, and this level of confidence only comes from a clean and positive history of previous released games. The problem lies where good is subjective. It is difficult to theorize what type of game players will resonate with. The only way a developer can be certain is if there is clear demand for a certain type of video game. Games that are consistently being sold, or games that are always on the top viewed list on platforms such as YouTube or Twitch, are all games that we as gamers have come to demand the most in the eyes of the developer. So a game genre can only be truly considered dead if the lack of demand leads to developers stopping the creation of games of that genre. With these thoughts in mind, can we definitively say that the MMORPG genre is dying? It is a difficult question to answer due to the emotional sentiment we have towards these types of games and the complexity of the MMORPG development and lifespan. Objectively, it is clear that the MMORPG genre's golden age is no longer upon us, and the development of new MMORPGs are at an all-time low. With so many failed MMORPG projects on record, it is understandable that no other company would risk their time, effort, and money to try and make their MMORPG. However, It is not to say that no new MMORPGs exist. In fact, new MMORPGs see their highest number of players at the launch of their game, so it would be false to say that MMORPGs can't draw in large enough audiences. Examples such as Lost Ark, New World, and Black Desert Online all had huge launch numbers. And with any successful game launch, a large audience is indicative for demand for a game, or even signs for demand for that type of game genre. It is clear that there is demand for the MMORPG genre, with MMORPG giants serving as living proof that the genre is still alive. Blizzard or Square Enix would not leave their servers up and running today if it wasn't lucrative to do so. Amazon would not have attempted to try their hand at making an MMORPG twice or serve as publisher for other MMORPG companies if they did not see a profit in it. ArenaNet would not continue to release expansions for their MMO if they thought that there wasn't a demand for it. However, does this paint the entire picture of the MMORPG genre? Like I said before, times change and technology evolved. But unlike how the light gun shooter of Time Crisis evolved into bigger and better experiences for fans of the FPS genre, the MMORPG community can wholeheartedly agree that the MMORPG we know today is not only not what it used to be, but it is worse off in the state that it's in now. Join me next time as we continue to dive into the MMORPG and discover the intricate details of what many players would consider the reason for the slow, yet preventable death of this beloved genre.